core area Orbital Shift looks to provide value is enhancing staff communication and awareness. Remembering that employees can enter their cell phone number, email address, and select their communication preference, we also have a messaging system. I can get to this by selecting the communication page on the menu bar. Using the filters and employee list on the left, we can communicate with any one employee, like if I want to send a message to Daniel, or multiple employees if I want to send a message to a whole department or position group. I simply select who I want to communicate with, add them as recipients, type up a custom message, select Send Message, and emails and texts are sent out simultaneously. I can even send employees their schedule via email or text, helping to inform them of when they work next. Whether I'm wanting to remind my staff of our meeting tomorrow, or not to forget to change their clocks this weekend, this simple messaging system makes it easy to communicate with employees. On the schedule page, there's also a centralized message panel. Here, I can enter notes for one or more departments, informing employees about events or reminders for a particular day. There's also a setting to enable this panel to open by default if when an employee logs in, there's a daily note this week. Not only can I post messages to employees, I can also post messages to other admins. This message panel is also viewable in a read-only format on the Budgets page. The ability to view last year's budgets in context with the notes that were recorded around the same time makes it easier to utilize past events and experiences when creating new budgets. Another feature enhancing staff communication and awareness is Orbital Shift's auto messaging service. Let's take a look at Ellie Connell's cover request. When Ellie selects for her shift approved event to become a cover request, the system is actually smart enough to gather all the employees who are approved to work the same position as Ellie, filters out the employees already scheduled to work at this time, and then takes the remaining pool of employees and emails and text messages them simultaneously to help find a replacement for Ellie. As we can observe, Kyle Jackson is an employee working the same position as Ellie. And let's say Kyle's messaging preference is set for him to receive text messages. When Ellie makes the cover request, Kyle would then get a message to his phone that says, "A cover request for Ellie Connell on Thursday, June 14th from 11 to 4 o'clock, and then at the bottom of the message it would say, "Reply 1 to make a shift request." Armed with the knowledge that the system wouldn't have sent Kyle this message if he was already on the schedule at this time, Kyle can simply reply to this message with a number 1 and click Send, and the system will make a shift request for him. The key aspect here is that Kyle doesn't have to be at a computer to volunteer for this shift. At a minimum, he just has to have a cell phone. Now after Kyle makes a shift request, the manager in charge of this position or department would receive a message, and let's say their preference is set to get emails on their smartphone. The manager would receive an email that says a shift request has been made from Ellie Connell to Kyle Jackson, parenthesis, how many hours will Kyle be at on the schedule this week if this shift is transferred to him, the details about the date and time of this shift and for which position it is for, and then at the bottom of the message it would say reply 1 to approve this transfer. Again, it's important to note that the manager doesn't have to be at a computer at this time. At a minimum, they just have to have a cell phone. If a manager doesn't want to transfer a shift to an employee because of the hours they'll be at or a different reason, they simply do nothing and wait for another employee to volunteer. When the manager is ready to approve a shift request, they reply to the message they were sent with a number 1 and click Send, and the system approves the transfer for them. Once approved by a manager, a confirmation message is sent to both employees, letting them know who is approved to have this shift off and now who is responsible for picking it up. Once the cover is approved, everything is time-stamped and recorded to avoid any confusion or for later review. And finally, Orbital Shift offers personal training and support tutorials to ensure client proficiency. If we select Support on the menu bar, we're taken to a page where we can view various instructions and video tutorials. This support page provides convenient access to helpful topics when training new employees or managers, and can help current staff members brush up on functionality. And when the time comes to train new employees, there's a quick start video, as well as a PDF that can be printed and distributed. These support materials, along with the other tutorial topics, serve to aid managers in getting their staff up and running in no time. Today, the power of the web can bring us together in ways previously not possible, and mobile devices are helping us communicate better in real time from almost anywhere. Let Orbital Shift work with you to show you how. Get your staff on the same digital page with Orbital Shift. Make your shift today.